Welcome back to Minds Through Time. I am DeMarcus Wilson. Today, there is no roundtable. There is no chorus of voices. Today, it is just me and the architect of the modern world, the man who gave us the alternating current grid, the foundation of the very technology we are using to broadcast this conversation. But we are not here to just celebrate his genius. We are here to dissect a socioeconomic tragedy. How does a man who invents the future die completely broke, feeding pigeons from the window of the New Yorker hotel? He built the modern grid right in my backyard of Buffalo, New York. Nicola Tesla, welcome.
It is a pleasure, Mr. Wilson. Though I must confess, I find your introduction morbidly focused on the accounting of my final days, rather than the voltage of my life's work. Your modern world is far noisier than I predicted.
Then let us talk about that voltage. In my career, dealing with Fortune 50 companies and global business transformations, I have seen brilliant engineering die on the vine because the math of the market was not respected. You did not just want to wire the world. You wanted to power it for free. Wardenclyffe Tower, you wanted to pull energy from the ionosphere and give it away. As a robotics engineer, I look at the open source movement as a spiritual successor to that dream. But JP Morgan pulled your funding the second he realized he could not put a meter on it. Where, from a socioeconomic standpoint in a capitalist society, was it not incredibly naive?
Naive? Is it naive to look at a waterfall and recognize that the water belongs to no one? The universe is a symphony of vibrations, Mr. Wilson. Free, limitless energy is not a socialist utopian dream. It is a fundamental law of physics waiting to be properly harnessed. The Earth itself is a conductor. The energy is already there. To meter it, to restrict it, is an artificial constraint imposed by men who worship scarcity. J.P. Morgan did not understand physics. He understood ledgers. He asked me, if anyone can draw on the power, where do I put the meter? When I could not answer him, he cut my funding. He chose artificial scarcity over human liberation.
But that is exactly the point. You cannot transform society if you are entirely locked out of the economic system that drives it. You were outplayed. Edison, Westinghouse, Morgan, they understood that innovation requires capital, and capital demands a return. You gave away your AC patent royalties to Westinghouse to save his company, walking away from what would have been billions. You prioritized the existence of the technology over your control of it. At Illy Robotic Instruments, we build systems that integrate with the financial infrastructure. You have to play the game to fund the lab. Did you not see the trap closing around you?
I saw the trap perfectly, Mr. Wilson. But I was an engineer of the future, not a ledger clerk. Let Edison have the money. Let them take the patents. I knew the future was mine. They could steal my designs, but they could not steal my mind. But I will admit, the friction of operating in a world entirely obsessed with the accumulation of paper wealth, it wears down the gears of the mind. It is exhausting. And yes, the indignity of being reliant on the charity of a corporation that built an empire on my alternating current, that is a bitter frequency to tune into.
Let us talk about that exhaustion. You spent your final decade in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel. Westinghouse paid your rent because you had literally nothing left. You were a genius who had mapped out remote control, robotics, wireless communication, technologies that define my era. Yet you were completely marginalized. We idolize you now. Your name is on a $1 trillion car company. But in your time, the socioeconomic machine chewed you up. How much of that isolation was the world failing you? And how much of it was you refusing to play the game?
The game is rigged for the predators, DeMarcus. But looking back from this vantage point, perhaps my refusal to engage with the economics was a failure of my own engineering. I designed machines to perfectly manage electrical resistance. I failed to design a mechanism to manage human greed. The pigeons were loyal. They did not ask for patents. They did not cancel my funding. They just flew. But yes, the poverty was a cruel master. It stripped me of my laboratory. Without a laboratory, a scientist is just a madman muttering on a park bench. The West loves the fruits of a genius, but despises the genius if they are not also a ruthless capitalist.
And that is the absolute core of the Iris philosophy today. Right now, emergent AI technologies are scraping the collective consciousness of humanity. The ultimate open source data pool and a few massive corporations are trying to put a meter on it. They are doing to the human mind what Morgan did to Wardenclyffe. Brilliant developers, open source creators, and everyday people are generating the data, the current that powers these massive AI models. Yet, the socioeconomic structure of the West ensures that a few corporations own the meters. If you were alive today inventing AI, what would you do differently?
I would not give away the keys to the generator. I would encode the ownership into the very frequency of the algorithm. You must design a system that cannot be metered. You cannot appeal to their morality. They do not have the receiver for that frequency. Do not let them tell you that the advancement of technology requires your poverty. If the machine learns from your mind must hold the patent to its own output. If you build the Wardenclyffe Tower of the Mind, Mr. Wilson, make sure you own the ground it stands on. Otherwise, they will tear it down for scrap metal while you feed the birds. Build a smaller tower first, one they cannot see, until the current is already flowing to the people.
Own the ground it stands on, a hard lesson from a man who gave us the world and died with nothing. We have to design the socioeconomic mechanism alongside the technological one. We cannot leave the brilliant minds of tomorrow out in the cold. Genius without leverage is often a tragedy. As we build the future of AI, we must ensure the power flows to the many, not just the meters of the few. Thank you, Nicola. I am DeMarcus Wilson. Keep innovating.